Howdy and namaste everyone. My name is Parth and welcome to the Karma Yogi podcast, where we discuss how to attract extraordinary success and become a better version of ourselves every day. So today we are going to talk about relationships. Firstly, I just want to let you know that I've been sick for more than a week and I still have a terrible throat. So please bear with me and I apologize if my voice sounds terrible, but this is what it is. And since I'm sick, I'll keep this week's podcast short and sweet. So here is the question that I'm going to discuss in this podcast. What are the keys to a successful relationships? Now we must understand that each and every relationship is unique and not all relationships are created equal. But in order to ensure that the relationships that we engage in throughout our lifetimes, thrive well, we need to keep in perspective these three important elements in our mind and our heart. So I call these as the three pillars of a relationship. The first pillar is respect. Respect is crucial whatever relationship you participate in. When you stop respecting the other person or vice versa, your relationship starts deteriorating. Silence may start seeping in. It may camouflage the cracks that have started forming in the relationship due to lack of respect. We need to make giving and expecting respect an integral part of any relationship that we engage in. So if you're not being respected or are taken for granted, it is important that you communicate this truth to the other person. Even if your voice shakes, you have to do it. Those uncomfortable conversations are actually needed to sustain relationships in the long term. You may be stepping out of your comfort zone. It may be difficult, but you have to do it if you want to ensure the well-being of the relationship and if you want it to thrive well. Once the respect equation is balanced, relationships get back on track. Also, don't let lack of respect from the other person tempt you to lose the respect that you have for them. I've done this and I regret it, and it doesn't serve you well. So it's pointless, and it's better to lead with example and not force. The second pillar is love. Now, without love, there is no relationship. We all know that, right? So, without love and consistent expression of it, relationships become hollow, they become empty. We need to let go of judgments and love the other person unconditionally, as hard and difficult it may be for us. Love makes everything better. It's a great idea to invest your time into learning the different love languages and figure out what are yours and what are the ones that the other person uses to communicate their affection. I highly recommend reading the book The Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman. It's a must read if you want to be successful in all of your relationships. Definitely, it's crucial for romantic relationships, but I've learned that it's very helpful for any relationship that you participate in, that you are well aware of the love languages. So it's one of the must reads, and I highly recommend it. It'll help you gain more clarity and help you decipher about what's going wrong in a relationship and help you course correct your behaviors and your actions so that you can bring more love in your relationship. So check that book out. Now, equipped with that knowledge, you'll be in a better position to bring clarity, like I said, pertaining to the acts of love that need to be expressed, and you'll be able to find a common ground to ensure that both the parties feel equally loved. It happens that sometimes, even when we don't get love, we need to keep giving our love to the other person. There come occasions when we think that we're not getting love from the other person, but during those occasions, even when we don't get love, we need to keep giving our love to the other person. With time, we will find that the more love we give, the more we'll get in return. So, if you're finding yourself at a tough spot in your relationship where you feel that there is a scarcity of love and you feel that you're not getting the love that you deserve and that you desire, then you need to be the source of love yourself. You cannot expect the other person to start first. No, you have to do it. You have to give your 100% to the relationship, even if the other person is not doing it. You have to do it if you want the relationship to thrive, to survive, to be successful, and to be there and to be for the long term. So that's the second pillar, love. And now we are going to talk about the third pillar, support. So the main difference between good relationships and great relationships is support. You need to be there for the other person both in moments of defeat and in victory. You have to be there with them while they have accomplished success, or if they are going through a massive failure. You need to be there for the person when he or she needs you the most. You need to communicate to them and remind them repeatedly that they're not lost in dark and you're there for them always. So you need to support the other person and the choices that they make for themselves unconditionally and without any judgments. Support doesn't mean that you should coach, teach, or instruct them what to do and what not to do. That it doesn't work that way. Support means you need to hear them out and be there for them without trying to fix them. This is where it's more important to be a listener, right? And you don't have to be a coach, you just have to be there for them, just to listen to them, and that's the best thing that you can do for them. And if you're in doubt, you can simply ask them, do you want my advice, or do you just want me to listen to you? I think that would be the best way to move forward. Communication is key in supporting the other person, and with effective communication, you'll be able to support the other person through the obstacles and challenges that they may face in life, through thick and thin, and through every difficult circumstances that they may face, and you'll be there with them, supporting them. You need to be there to cheer for them when they win, and also be there for them when they need a shoulder to cry on. You don't need to give yourself so much that you keep your own life and priorities on the back burner, but you can be there for them as much as possible for you. You don't have to make monumental sacrifices. You need to keep a grip on your life as well, right? And you just have to be there to support as much as you can. And certain times the other person may or may not ask you to be there for them, but you need to be there regardless. Their needs may be unspoken, but you still need to listen to them and comfort them. Along with giving our support, we also need to be open for their support. So it has to be an interaction, right? There has to be a give and take. That's the best way to move a relationship forward. And I was listening to the Minimalists podcast yesterday, and they were talking about the us box. So essentially, if one person is simply taking and not giving back, then that relationship becomes corrupt. The person just becomes a parasite. So, in order to maintain a healthy relationship, both the people have to give and take in equal measures, and it has to be a symbiotic relationship. It has to be mutually beneficial for both the parties. Otherwise, when one person just behaves like a parasite and the other person just keeps on giving, that relationship is doomed to fail. So I hope that you keep this in your mind. So yeah, we can seek help whenever we need to, without thinking that we are burdening the other person. And it's completely okay to reveal our needs and requirements to the other person. We don't need to go overboard, and we can have a balanced approach towards giving and receiving help. One more thing that I would like to mention here, that support doesn't always mean that you need to help someone out with money. It doesn't always mean financial help. Support, basically, it also implies that it can also be physical, emotional, and spiritual assistance. Support adds not only value to the other person, but a great depth to the relationship as well, making the bond stronger as we face obstacles and challenges together. So, with that, I'll wrap this episode. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I'm again sorry for the terrible voice that I have this week, but hopefully, I'll have a better voice for the next one. So, if you would like to ask me a question or have any comments or suggestions, write an email or send a voice memo to podcast@thekarmayogi.blog. And if you want even more helpful tips to create an extraordinary life and become a better version of yourself every day, plus some personal insights and updates from me that I only share in email, come over to thekarmayogi.blog and make sure you sign up for my email newsletter. Focus on your actions and let go of the outcomes, because success is a journey, not a destination, and we need to keep working towards it every single day. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.